What do you think of that moon ball, Mary?
I don't think he should try it too much against Chris Evert, I'll tell you that. Although, I'll tell you, Mary Jo Fernandez owns Gabriela Sabatini. She beat her in the juniors. She won 2 Orange Bowls back-to-back, beating Sabatini. She beat her here last year, and that moon ball works against Sabatini. I just don't think you use it against Evert. You might win some rallies that way.
It's tough to
But you don't win a match that way.
Yeah, you don't, it's not easy to attack against it, so I guess all it does is gives her a breather in the point, really.
Right.
Game point. Just wide, and Chris Evert now leads for the first time in the match, 4-3. This is Evert Fernandez, 4-3 first set. We are on serve. Mary Jo, just 17 years old. A lot of improvement possible. I feel like she's got to attack the serve a little more, Mary, don't you? And that's something that she clearly is going to do. At the moment, she just kind of pushes it in.
But Mary Jo had a real nice looking 1988. As I said, she beat Gabriela Sabatini here. She beat her again last year. She had a good victory. She beat Zina Garrison at Eastbourne last year. She got to the 4th round of Wimbledon. Got all the way up into the top 20 at the end of '88, and right now she's 13 in the world. She does it with a lot of common sense and, as we said earlier, a lot of balance in her life. Had it. It was a good drop shot. Chris moved so well to get there.
By the way, she beat Gabriela Sabatini this year in the Pan Pacific as well. That was in the quarterfinals, 2-2, and she lost to Martina in the semis there.
It's a total head thing. As you see, Chris had that shot cold. Could have made it. But it was an awful long run.
Game point for Mary Jo Fernandez. She played the Australian Open, beaten Terry Phelps and Anne Grossman, lost to Catherine Tanvier. And then, of course, as we already told you last week, at Virginia Slims of Florida in the quarterfinals, she lost to Chris 2-3.
Wir hätten Ihnen dieses Programm natürlich gerne mit deutschem Kommentar angeboten. Leider ist uns das aus rechtlichen Gründen nicht möglich. Wir bitten dafür um Ihr Verständnis.
But the pressure of Mary Jo being up at net, I think, contributed to that miss. She's staying close with her.
4 games all first set, 2 breaks apiece.
Both work that point well. You can see they have the same sensibilities, the same mentality out there. 15 One finally by Chris.
Chris says her most embarrassing moment was at the Olympics when I found out that I was the only American tennis player not to win a medal. That's a quote. her most treasured athletic moment was when she was 15 and beat Margaret Court, who had just won the Grand Slam. I was an unknown, and she was rated #1. I remember that match for a long time. Four games off, first set, 30-15.
Mary Jo, and the opportunities that she has had, really hasn't put the ball away when the overhead in that last game.
Both players have a pretty solid hard court record this year, as you can see. 9-2 for Mary Jo and 7-2 for Chris. Game point. Fred, you have had a chance to see some of Mary Jo's action here. You've, as we said earlier on, had a lot to do with her as a kid. She's playing well again.
Well, she's always, I think she can hold her own with anybody from the back of the court, Cliff, with the ground strokes. And as we've alluded to the fact, it's like a Chrissy playing in front of a mirror, because she does pretty much the same thing. Now, the follow through on the two-handed backhand's not quite the same. And Chrissy today seems to be able to get a little bit more angle on the ball than Mary Jo has so far in this match.
Just wide, back to deuce.
But Mary Jo, in the matches prior to this, playing Chris, has tried numerous things, staying at the back of the court, rallying, which I don't think is the better one. I agree with Mary's comments that to get to that next step up the ladder, she has to be a little more aggressive. And when she goes to the net, she's got to win the shot from the net or lose it from the net, not just try and push the ball back down the middle on the volley or on the overhead a couple of games ago. She's got to nail those and win or lose by going in there.
Correction, ball scoot, first service.
Correction on the serve call. Chris will serve 2. Big point. Deuce at 4 games off first set. guide down the line. Game point for Chris.
Advantage, Evert.
Such a great way to handle this, isn't it? Chris knew she just had to bunt it by Mary Jo. She didn't need any kind of extra power. All she really needed was control. Just tremendous shot selection.
Chris started out the year at the Pan Pacific. She beat Andrea Leand and lost to Laurie McNeil. Then she lost to Hannah Manlikova at Indian Wells. And she lost the final of the Virginia Slims of Florida to Steffi Graf last week.
But she took a set off of Graf.
Right.
It was a good match for Chris. First time Graf lost a set in 4 months.
Game, Evert.
And she leads in this match. The first set, 5-4 against Mary Jo Fernandez. More from the Lipton in a moment.
By 5 games to 4.
Chris Evert, Mary Jo Fernandez, 4th round of the Lipton International Players Championship. Battling it out for the pleasure of playing the winner between Katerina Malieva and Helen Kilesi of Canada in the quarterfinals.
Again, Evert handles the situation so well.
Wir hätten Ihnen dieses Programm natürlich gerne mit deutschem Kommentar angeboten. Leider ist uns das aus rechtlichen Gründen nicht möglich. Wir bitten dafür um Ihr Verständnis.
What a shot. Half volley off the feet for a winner.
l.Players.
Mary Jo just cranks up on this forehand. Hit as hard as any forehand she's hit. Look at Chrissy. Volleys that one, a couple of little steps there. Good ballet stuff. Very nice.
Love 30, 4-5. Oh, big point not to make the serve play, wasn't it?
Very rarely do you see Chris Evert miss a second serve, miss a return a serve off a second serve. Mad with herself there, slapped herself on the thigh saying that.
Told you that Jana Novotna earlier today beat Pam Shriver, who is the number 4 seed, so she's through the quarterfinal. After her match, she said something I found interesting. She said she started to play tennis at 8 years old, and then she said, actually, that's quite late these days.
She's right. Two good points in a row from Fernandez. And again, against Evert, you just got to get the ball by her. You know, win the point. Finish it off. It's good, bold tactics.
Fernandez.
Oh, what a chance. Missed by Chris Evert. Game Mary Jo, 5 games all. First set, best of 3, 4th round. Women's singles at the Lipton yesterday. Of course, Yannick Noah had that big 5-setter down 2 sets to love. And when he was asked what that kind of effort took out of him in the South Florida heat, he said, take out? No, it's what I take in. It makes me feel wonderful to be able to share great moments with a lot of other people. He said there are a lot of other ways to do this in life, but tennis is a great way to do it, and making them happy makes me happy.
And awfully tired.
But you know, Fred,
He is. He's a wonderful fella, isn't he?
You know, he
Just-
means it.
I know he
That's the
does.
thing that I
No, he
love
does.
about
And,
him.
you know, and we all pretty much wrote him off after 2 sets to love down, but a Herculean effort gets him through, and he does mean that. But I'll bet he slept well last night.
All.
I asked the ATP trainer how he was feeling, and he said, tired.
Another double fault, a big one, ever committed there. That definitely wasn't because of the sun.
15 all.
Left. First service.
Face says it all, doesn't it? This is a tough match.
But here's a chance for her, 5 games all. She's ahead on Mary Jo's serve. Excuse me. Mary Jo has a chance here on Chris's serve. What a big point that was. That could have been over just as easily as it missed would have given. What an opportunity. Even at 2 break points, it's 30 all. Now a game point for Chris. She joined the women's tour when she was just 15 years old. She turned pro at 18. She's won 21 Grand Slam titles. Not without difficulty, Chris Evert holds on to serve. But we're on serve. Fernandez serving to try to get into a tiebreaker.
La 15.
Mind you again that this match was played earlier today. We are watching this match along with you. You will from time to time maybe hear noise from other courts around this complex.
Love 30.
That was a nicely struck ball after first two shaky points. Mary Jo loosened up and went for a nice winner. She's just popping that serve in at this point. Who can blame her?
Oh, a little bit of help from the net that time for Mary Jo. If that had not gone over, it would have been 2 set points for Chris Evert. It's 30 all. She really is popping the serve in, and she could do so much more with that first serve.
It's a good motion. She's got a nice looking serve, good mechanics. She just doesn't want to miss that first one, does she?
That time the net hurting rather than helping, and Chris Evert has first set point.
Nicely done, and you can see that Fernandez really can volley. She's got good hands. She was in good position there.
Wir hätten Ihnen dieses Programm natürlich gerne mit deutschem Kommentar angeboten. Leider ist uns das aus rechtlichen Gründen nicht möglich. Wir bitten dafür um Ihr Verständnis.
Oh, yeah. Time before, Mary Jo anticipated exactly where she was going and probably hesitated to go to exactly the same spot this time. Take a look at this now. And keep your eye on Mary Jo. She comes in here and watch her. She hesitates, doesn't she?
Yep.
Leaves the space open there. And, of course, you don't give Chris too many chances to make the passing shot because she will do it almost every time. Set point, second one for Evert.
You don't give Evert too many set points either.
Rather tame backhand. Not many of those have you seen from Mary Jo Fernandez, but that gives Chris Evert the first set, 7 games to 5.
Second set, Evert to serve.
Fourth round match. The winner will play the winner of the Katerina Malieva-Helen Kalesi match. The other 2 quarterfinalists in their division are through. Jana Novotná, who beat Pam Shriver earlier today, and Zina Garrison over Galasa of Italy, who was down, by the way, 5-love in the 3rd set in her match against Beth Herr and came back to win it in the tiebreak.
Play Katerina Malieva or Helen Kalesi, another couple of baseliners if she gets through this match. Backhands like that, no trouble. Started off this match, Mary Jo just sort of kept the ball in play, and we've all disagreed on that tactic and whether it was to try and tire Chrissy out because Chris is twice the age of Mary Jo. It's sort of backfiring a little bit. Chris is pretty fit and moving very well.
15 all.
That's another double fault in there, Mary, but that's that same. She served 3 into that backhand side from up there.
That's her 5th.
Just wide.
13.
This is the first game of the second set. Evert just broke Fernandez to win the first set. She's down 15-30.
All.
Another double fault. That's 6 now. Break point. Chris's hometown is Fort Lauderdale. She lives now in Boca Club of Boca Raton and in Aspen. Double fault for Chris. Another one, and she has blown another game.
La 15.
Fred, you've worked with Mary Jo. Tell me about this serve, her first serve especially. She is obviously going to be able to get better, but what you're going to do to achieve that?
Well, I was talking to Mary earlier about it, and I think that in the case of a lot of the girls, they really don't have a crack at the serve at the top of the swing. You can see it up there, and they push it.
La 13.
Mary's alluded to the fact that it is a nice swing. The technique is there, and the body weight getting into the shot is there. And in practice, she can crank up and hit some pretty good first serves. But of course, get into matches and you're playing against somebody that was your idol as a kid, it gets a little tight. You get a little bit choked up.
Love 30.
La 14.
It reminds me so much of what Zina Garrison says about her volleying. Zina's playing very, very well this week. She's on through. She's won a bunch of very good rounds. And she said, I just have to convince myself to volley because I do it. That's how I win. I think that's what Mary Jo's got to go through. She's got to bang at him. And when she wins with him, when she finally starts winning with it, then she'll feel better about it.
100%, I agree with you.
Break point.
Game. Evert.
That is wide. Evert has broken back in the second game of the second set. There were, let's see, 5 breaks of serve in the first set. There have been 2 already in the second set.
My philosophy on that, Mary, also is that at times, under those conditions and under match play conditions, sometimes a younger player coming in, you might have to lose a couple of matches because of doing that. But you must learn to get that next step up the ladder. You've got to learn to be confident in that area.
15 love.
Wir hätten Ihnen dieses Programm natürlich gerne mit deutschem Kommentar angeboten.